We indeed are not asking the United States to save us. We are only saying, stop sponsoring our oppression. We are not asking you to come save us. We are trying to save ourselves.
Dear international community, please stop sponsoring our oppression. Please stop being the paymasters of our oppressor. If that stops, then that will be the beginning of the liberation of the people of Uganda.
Let's talk about the truth many are too afraid to say out loud. Uganda, a nation that is not free, Yoweri Museveni is not just clinging to power in Uganda. He is being propped up, prolonged, and protected by powerful Western interests who see him as their man in East Africa. For decades, Museveni has acted not as a leader of a sovereign people, but as a puppet of the West, a man who rules not to serve Ugandans, but to fulfill contracts, guard foreign investments, and maintain geopolitical balance for powers that sit oceans away. He sends Ugandan troops to fight wars that aren't for Uganda, Somalia, Sudan, the Congo, not because of African solidarity, but because of Western contracts and American aid packages. Billions of dollars pour into Uganda, but not into hospitals, schools, or the poor roads. They pour into a corrupt government that has turned Uganda into a business project for foreign stakeholders and Museveni's cronies. Meanwhile, over 10 trillion Ugandan shillings vanish every year to corruption. And as of now, Uganda's public debt is over 106 trillion shillings, the majority of it borrowed from the very Western institutions that claim to be helping Uganda. But who benefits from this money? It's certainly not the ordinary Ugandan hustling in the market or the boater rider trying to feed their family. Not the youth struggling for a future. The beneficiaries are Museveni and a tight-knit cartel of loyalists running Uganda like a private family enterprise. And just when the people began to see the chains, when they finally started asking tough questions, a new powerful voice rose, cutting through the Museveni lies, unafraid, unbought, and unbroken. Bobi Wine, not a general, not a warlord, but a musician with the people's voice, carrying truth instead of tanks, vision instead of violence, and hope instead of bribes. Hope that multiplied across the entire frustrated nation. And that is what scared Museveni more than any foreign threat ever could. To stop him, the regime has deployed every weapon in its arsenal: arrests, torture, humiliation, even assassination attempts. But beyond brute force, Museveni has built a vast surveillance state, more intrusive than anything Uganda has ever known, designed to stay one step ahead of Bobi Wine and crush any movement before it grows. This isn't just about CCTV cameras. We're talking about sophisticated spying systems deployed across the country, targeting Bobi Wine's every step. Let me paint you the picture. There are cameras hidden around his home in Magere, at his private beach property in Busabala, at the National Unity Platform headquarters in Kavule, a party Bobi Wine leads. Even the NUP School of Leaders, a place meant to train young minds for future leadership, is also under surveillance. But these aren't your average CCTVs. The regime, with help from foreign intelligence networks, has installed high-powered PTZ dome surveillance cameras. These cameras aren't just watching, they're tracking. They can pan across entire neighborhoods, tilt to follow a moving target on multiple levels, and zoom in with crystal clarity, even from hundreds of meters away. They have night vision, infrared technology, and are powered by AI systems capable of facial recognition, license plate tracking, motion detection, and behavioral analysis. That means the camera doesn't just see who came to visit Bobi Wine, it knows their name, where they've been, who they're connected to, what they're likely to do next. All of this is controlled remotely from secret command centers, linked to telecom masts and fed by power over Ethernet lines and fiber optics, data streaming in real time to the Museveni regime operatives. All this done with the help of Western power and companies like Huawei. This is not security. This is political warfare, a war against freedom, against democracy, against the people's will. But Museveni's desperation reveals one thing. He is afraid of losing power that he has held for over 40 years now. Afraid because no camera, no gun, no foreign paycheck can stop a people who have awakened. Bobi Wine represents that awakening. He refuses to be just another African leader begging the West for aid and help to solve African problem like uprooting dictator Museveni. Instead, he declares boldly, Uganda. He refuses to be just another African leader begging the West for aid and help to solve African problem like uprooting dictator Museveni. Instead, he declares boldly, Uganda doesn't need rescuing. We need liberation from dictatorship. Stop sponsoring or oppression. On the other side, Bobi Wine believes, and rightly so, that Uganda has everything it needs to thrive after Museveni. We are rich in resources, land, oil, minerals, lakes. We have one of the youngest, most energetic, most entrepreneurial populations on this continent. We don't need to borrow to survive. We need vision, integrity, and leadership that believes in Uganda. Bobi Wine's plan is clear, people-centered, and transformational. He has pledged to restore presidential term limits and criminalize constitutional manipulation, trim the bloated government, eliminate wasteful ministries, reduce cabinet size, and reform parliament. Introduce performance contracts for public servants. No more pay for sleeping on the job. Improve access to justice, increase legal aid, and protect the vulnerable, especially children. Recover stolen funds, empower whistleblowers, and prosecute corrupt officials. Rebuild the education system, provide school meals, sanitary pads for girls, expand vocational training, and reform loans and scholarships. Fix hospitals, fund maternal health, and implement universal health insurance by cutting waste, not taxing the poor. Support farmers, revitalize irrigation, promote local seed production, and restore cooperatives. Ensure clean water for all Ugandans and hold polluters accountable. Empower youth with startup funds and protect innovators with public procurement access. Digitize land records to fight land grabbing and protect rightful landowners. Depoliticize the police and military, returning them to serve the people, not one man. Support the diaspora, introduce diaspora voting, and defend Ugandans abroad. This is not just about removing a dictator. This is about rebuilding a nation. A Uganda where no child studies under a tree, where no mother dies giving birth in a crumbling hospital, where our identity is not foreign debt, but dignity and self-reliance. Museveni represents the past. Bobi Wine represents the future. The cameras may be watching, the spies may be listening, but the people are awake. And once the people know the truth, no force on earth can stop them. This is not just politics. This is a movement, a revolution of minds. That must end with nothing other than victory for Uganda. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful and informative, please consider subscribing to our channel. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know your perspective on this crucial issue. Spread this message to your friends and ask them what they think about this important topic. Thank you and have a wonderful day.